And then if you want to use particular configurations for particular games, you can just change and Dracula poker playing Omaha 8, and whatever it might be. The point is that you can have different HUDs for different games, and there is a video on YouTube that talks about having multiple HUDs in Holdem Manager, so refer to that. I don't want to go too deep into that since I already did a video on it, and you can take a look. So we'll just hit cancel, and so that's basically some player preferences. Let's get into table preferences. So what this says, mucked cards time, that's when someone folds, Holdem Manager will actually read the hand history, because it's in the hand history. If they folded at showdown, they didn't want to show their cards because they lost. It'll actually show you as a pop-up on the table, and this tells you how often in seconds, and I just put it at 5. Some of this other stuff I've basically kept all at the same, but you can go into whatever you want. Not too much to change here. This is probably the only thing you're going to want to change. We go into seating preferences. This is going to be important. If you do the preferred seating, so you're not sitting all over the place, and let me bring up PokerStars to demonstrate that. Okay, so to demonstrate the preferred seating, when you go to options at PokerStars, and Full Tilt has this as well, click on preferred seat. So when you play at a 10-player table, which is basically the satellite tournaments are usually 10 players, you just pick one of these, but you need to remember what seat that is. This is seat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. At a 9-player table, which is all your full ring games, I like to sit right down in the middle. It makes it real easy. Some people like to sit in seat 1. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've never seen a 7 or 8-player table, but a 6-player table, I like to sit in seat 3. So every time I sit down at a table, I'll be sitting down at that seat. It makes multi-tabling a lot easier. I know where I am at the table at all times. But what you need to do is tell Holdem Manager that you're sitting at these tables. Otherwise, the stats are going to be all flipped around and mixed up. So let's go back to that. All right. So we go down to PokerStars. And remember, our seat was number 6 for 10 max. For full ring 9 max tables, we were in seat 5. And for 6 max tables, we were in seat 3. Once we have that set, we hit OK. And now Holdem Manager knows whenever we sit at a table on PokerStars, that's the seat we're going to be sitting in. So they can adjust the way the HUD will come up, and we know the right stat box is assigned to the right person. Otherwise, they could be jumbled up if you don't do that. Let's see, what else do we got? Seating preferences, that's what we just did. HUD pop-up configuration. This isn't really something you're going to want to mess with. This is kind of a way more advanced editor for the pop-up, which is, when you see the stats and you click on it, you get a bunch more stats. This is actually where it's configured. And I really did wish they had a import and export, because there's a lot you could do here and a lot people could share. But for now, you'll just need to probably avoid this if you're a beginning user. And we'll see site options. We can take a look at all this, but basically you'll want to leave most of this alone. One thing a lot of people don't know about, if you go back in the HUD options, you can launch the active player detail windows. And the player detail is right here, and we can go into that in a little bit. But it basically is an in-depth look at every player and all their tendencies. It doesn't really help you if you only have 50 hands on a guy, but if you've got 1,000 or even 5,000, like I have on some people that I've played regularly for months and months, what you can do is launch this active player detail window, and all the active players that you're playing against will be listed here, and then you'll select one and all their information will come up here, and you can have all the in-depth reads that you want. Now this might take a long time, and you may not be able to do this at a table, and chances are you won't, and you probably shouldn't be. You'll be using that, when you click on the HUD and the player detail window will come up. But this is something you can be using, and it can be very helpful. So let's get into some of the reporting. I clicked on cash games, and these are the reports. what you can do is select the report, and you can make these all customized. So you see how there's all these stats here. Some of these are not there by default. They're ones that I've wanted to put in, like stars VPPs and stars VPPs per hand. So that way I know, how many of those FPPs I'm earning. So what you can do is you can select one of these, and if you have Leak Buster, these are actually some really good reports that you can generate. But you can do by stakes or change winning summary. But overall is a good one. And these are all the stats. All these stats here show up over here. Oh, excuse me. Okay, apologize about that. So what you're going to want to do, if you want to change these stats, is click on this plus button. And you're like, oh my god, look at all these stats. But that's a good thing, right? You could actually make this box a little bigger, but it doesn't do much of anything for you. So let's try to find one that we don't have. Squeeze percentage, that's a good one. That's right there, but you can look down and see all different stats. So we click on that, and then we hit save. You don't need to double click. And what you'll see is that squeeze percentage is right here, but we don't want it way at the end. Let's have it by our 3-bet stats. So I'm going to put it right next between 4-bet range. So it's going to end up right here, but it's not there. You're like, what happened? What you need to do is just click this refresh button. And sure enough, our squeeze percentage is right there. So that's how you would get more advanced reporting. Let's try to find something a little bit more pre-flop cards. Okay. So now I'm in pre-flop cards, and these are all the cards, and I did that by clicking all cards that have been dealt to me. And that's kind of interesting. You can see that I've gotten aces and queens 0.43% of the time, which I believe is just about exact of where I should get them. But I've only gotten kings 0.27, so I'm due some kings this month. Unfortunately for me, kings are usually a cursed hand, I think, as some of you will attest. TJ Cloutier once told me, and this is a true story, that it's a fundamental law of physics proven by Einstein that an ace will always flop when you have pocket kings. So I've yet to see that not happen, right? So anyways, if you click on, let's say, your aces here, you can move this up, and you'll actually see all the times you had pocket aces. And you can see, well, yeah, usually pretty profitable, and that's how much has been made off of that hand. And we can click on kings and queens, and you can see queens have not been kind to me this month so far, but pretty interesting stuff. Now what really gets interesting is when you apply some of the filters or quick filters. We can do all the hands that have been 3-bet, all hands that have been 4-bet. I don't think, oh yeah, I called a 4-bet a few times. And cold calling, raising the limper, all sorts of fun stuff. You can get into some really advanced filters by clicking filter edit. And you can do it by stakes, number of players. So let's do it in the late position, cutoff and button, and let's do it unopened. So basically, if everyone's folded and I'm in the cutoff or button, what am I doing? And this is, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. So we'll save and close. And basically, we see all the hands, and you can see I'm opening really wide. And this probably has more to do over here, but you can do all these things that, okay, in this situation, like, wow, look, I actually raised 8 deuce or 10-3. I can go through and kind of see what happened. Jack 7 I was opening up. Have yet to get king 7 suited in that situation, that's why it's blank. So all sorts of neat stuff you can take a look at. So basically that's your quick Holdem Manager beginners tutorial. There's all sorts of things we can get into, and maybe in the next video I'll get into the players tab and table scanner, which is an extra fee, but definitely well worth it if you're going to start playing some of the bigger games, some of the low stakes on up. You probably want to be using table scanner. So we can definitely get into that next time, but this should be a really good, easy tutorial. If you want to know more about the HUD, check out the HUD video. It's on YouTube and PokerTube.com. But until then, I appreciate you checking out the video. This has been Sean for TightPoker.com.